Coffee Break.
You're Chris.
And you're Tom.
And that's about that.
Yeah. Our intros are great.
Yes, they are. They need work.
So, today we wanted to talk to you about Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
And to give you a little bit of backstory why we're talking about 1 right now is I just watched 1 last week.
Like,
So-
for the first time.
Yeah,
not
for the
just
first
he
time.
watched it. First time.
Mm-hmm.
And today is what, March 7th of 2017?
As of this video, we watched Guardians of the Galaxy on last Friday. So,
It came out in theaters last Friday. Saw it with a group of friends. We made sure that he watched the first one before he watched the second one.
So, we're going to kind of break this down. We're going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 1 briefly. I'm going to touch on that briefly, what I thought about it. Then we're going to go to 2. We're going to give a rough overview of 2, and then we're going to talk about spoilers. So we'll tell you guys when the spoilers are coming up, because if you haven't seen the movie yet, go out and watch it.
And for the record, Guardians 1, we're spoiling it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no...
It's been out since
shut it up.
2014, okay? So sorry if you
don't
haven't
hate
seen
us.
it. Go watch it. Watch it before, so you guys have been warned.
So, starting with 1, I haven't really heard what you thought of it too much yet.
Yeah.
I'd like to know your basic view of this movie compared to Marvel movies, or just as a movie in general.
Okay.
What you think?
Well, just to give you guys an explanation why I didn't watch it, one is I watched one trailer for it, and they all looked like jerks. The whole cast looked like jerks. And I'm like, I don't want to watch a movie full of jerks. So I didn't watch it. And then Tom begged me and pleaded with me and held me at gunpoint for 2 years, and I finally watched it. I think it was
It's
the
true.
gunpoint. No.
It's true.
Anyway, so I saw the trailer for 2, and I'm like, oh, that actually looks kind of fun. So I watched 1 just so I'd be caught up, and I really enjoyed it. The trailer made them look like jerks. The characters are very likable.
Mm-hmm.
They all do a phenomenal job. It really pulls you into it. It's kind of... They wink at the audience a lot in the show. And it's like, hey, you're watching a superhero movie. Have fun. But they don't overdo it either. So it's not like they take
Right.
it seriously enough. Has very well-written characters. I was telling my wife that the CGI is really, really well done because you forget you're looking at CGI. You
It's true.
forget you're looking at CGI raccoon or a CGI tree man. That's when you know that they've succeeded. The animators have succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at other movies in 2014 who failed on their CGI, I'm just like, what's their excuse?
That's very fair. Because with CGI, it's very hit and miss
Mhm.
a lot of the time. But for this movie, it was very on point, and I was very pleased with how visually stunning it was. You know, it reminded me when Lego Batman came out in theaters. Me and my brother went and saw it, and I remember leaving the theater, and everything seemed like it had like a gray tone. Like, it's like, the world's not very bright and colorful now. Because I've been so mesmerized. I had a similar feeling to this. It's almost intoxicating how bright and beautiful this world is that James Gunn created. So...
Anyway, but yes, James Gunn did a great job at directing it. Love the music selection.
But yeah, for the record, the mix volume 2 or whatever it's called, the awesome mix,
Yeah.
way better than the first one. My opinion,
I enjoyed
loved.
both of them. I listen to
Yeah.
them now when I'm doing dishes and stuff. And working in the garage,
This guy.
doing manly things.
I listen to him while I do the dishes. Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Very
that's
cool,
me.
Chris.
Of course. Real men do dishes.
I don't know what to say to that. I mean, yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, whatever you say, by all means. Because we came here to talk about dishes.
Totally. Okay, so Guardians of the Galaxy 1, the plot was maybe a little simple, but it was made up by very real characters. I mean, they, again,
Mhm.
perfect. They nailed their performances. And so that takes us to Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Normally sequels tend to be less than the first. Well, to give a good example, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if I can say that right, Iron Man 2. You watch the Iron Man 1 until the end, and Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, he grows, and he's all of a sudden the stand-up guy at the end.
Mhm.
And then in the second one, he goes back to a party boy. And it's like, we watched him grow already. We don't want to see him take steps backwards. In Guardians of the Galaxy 2, you felt like that they were a family. they were friends at the end of the first one. And the second one, they were a family. They were fighting like families. They had that banter. Everybody was listening to Star-Lord's music. It was really cool. They all enjoyed it. It was, and that's happened to me before at work when back when I was working with a friend, he would listen to 80s music all the time. And I wasn't a big fan of 80s music at that time. Like, I just didn't listen to it. And just after listening to it for a while with him, I became a fan of 80s music. And so that's very contagious stuff.
Absolutely it is.
So, anyway, I just liked how they were all, like, they were listening to it. It wasn't just Star-Lord on his awesome mixtape. It was, everybody was putting on his music, and it was cool.
They were together. I have to say, personally, my favorite thing about the second movie that stood out from the first one is Yondu. The character of Yondu. And this is a big time spoiler for this video, but Yondu is the father figure, and it's like they dive into the fact that, if you've seen from the trailer, you know, Peter's saying sometimes the thing that you thought you were looking for is right beside you the whole time. Peter was looking for his dad, you know. First movie, second movie, it's all he wanted. But turns out Yondu was his father. Not physically his father, but he was the father figure, the one who took care of him, the one who loved him no matter what, stood up for him no matter what, and taught him to be tough and strong and be who he is now. Not, you know, whatever the name is of the actual dad.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, well, Kurt
Everybody's
Russell.
going to call him Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Kurt
spoilers
Russell.
There, but anyways, if you're to this point, we've already put spoilers warning, and so, you know, don't yell at us because we just spoiled part of it for you.
Well, yes.
Anyway.
Well, Kurt Russell was, I mean, they revealed that in the trailer, the very first trailer.
See, I didn't watch, I watched part of the trailers, but I don't think I watched that trailer where I didn't even know Kurt Russell was going to be in the movie until I saw his name on the title sequence.
You can see Chris prepares himself for movies.
Yes, totally.
He goes in very blind, which is good.
Yeah, I enjoy them more if I go in not blind. Anyway, I kind of thought that reconciliation was one of the big themes of the movie, because you have you know, Star-Lord and Yondu, and they kind of come to that point. You have Rocket with Star-Lord and his team, because Rocket and Star-Lord are kind of getting on each other's nerves, almost like brothers.
Yeah.
And they reconcile at the end, which is really touching, by the way.
It was.
It was very well done. And Gamora and her sister, I can't remember their name.
Yeah.
Her name, but they reconcile as well, and it's done very well.
Oh,
you know?
sorry, Nebula.
Nebula. Thank you. Yeah. I'm great with names too, so forgive me.
No worries.
Anyway, so Gamora and Nebula reconcile, and it's really well done. You know,
I'd say the strong points of this movie isn't the plot. I would say the strong point is easily the connection between the characters, because in the movie, you know, they split up, and you're following Drax and Mantis and Star-Lord and Gamora, all with, you know, Kurt Russell and that story, and then you've got Yondu and Rocket and Nebula all
Baby
kind of
Groot.
together, and Baby Groot. Baby Groot. I mean, come on. You've got all them together dealing with the Ravengers, and it's just great how it comes together. And it's great how you see them interact. You know, after watching Guardians 1, the last thing I probably would have ever expected is to see an extremely touching moment between Rocket and Yondu.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect that. But in this movie, holy cow, I mean, I was almost in tears. It was the sweetest part of that movie. It was beautiful, because Rocket is dealing with, you know, how he's such an outsider for the whole movie, and how no one gets him, no one understands what he's like, and all of a sudden, boom, Yondu sticks up against him and says, "Listen, I see right through you." Like
he almost said, "You're making the same mistakes I made, and don't go that way." It's really cool. So
Yondu takes on such a father figure role in this movie compared to the first one, where he was just kind of there, and he was kind of a bad guy in the first movie, you know. But at the end, you know, Peter tricks him into thinking he gives him the Infinity Stone, but he doesn't. It's a little troll doll, and then
he trolled him. Get it?
That was awful. Anyways, back to the review. I'm telling you, this movie hits on so many different levels what the first one didn't. But the first one, you know, you needed it. It was a great introduction to the characters, brought them together. But, you know, the second movie just dwells on what was already a great mixture and just improves upon it.
I'll say the second one felt like the Two Towers, where again it wasn't really a sequel; it was more of a continuation of the story. I bet Peter Gunn had a good idea where the second one was going to go when he was making the first one.
Yeah. Well, as far as the timelines go, with what Marvel's kind of teased at, is the time between the first and second movie very short. Time has gone by, very short. But between the second and what's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in several years, a lot more time has gone by. Because if you've seen the movie and you know in the after credits, Baby Groot is already teenage Groot, which I'm all more excited to see. It's going to be fantastic. But the time between the first and second, there's not a whole lot of time there. So yeah, it's a very much so continuation of where they left off, and I think that's the best choice.
Okay. What was there anything that you didn't like that happened in this movie?
Me personally?
Yeah.
You know, there are times when I'd sit back and I'd be laughing so hard or just thinking, oh, this is great. You know, I was always a little skeptical that sometimes they might take the goofiness too far, or they might just kind of do something that's, you know, it's funny. I see why they did it, but maybe a bit much. And it started scratching the surface of that, but overall, you just kind of sit back and you're like, no, that's this movie, you know? That's what it's trying to do. And it works. But, you know, maybe there's some things that maybe are a little too pushed or a little too forced. I know Drax was great, but, you know, he was very over the top, and maybe they could have toned him back a little, made him a little more serious at times, because in the first movie, you know, when you're introduced to Drax, he's a cutthroat, you know, killer, and that's what he's going to do. And then he has little snippets and quips here and there where it's, okay, that was really funny. The whole movie, he's this way. Like, you're never really scared of Drax once throughout this movie. You're not worried about what he'll do or how he'll act. He's a sweetheart for the whole movie, basically. You know, I like that. I like that about him, but, you know, it didn't take itself very seriously, which is okay, but, you know, maybe a few of those moments would have been nice sprinkled on top. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but, or at least see where I'm coming from.
I see where you're coming from. I can't point to a part in the movie that I was, like, dissatisfied with it.
Well, yeah, no, I wasn't dissatisfied. Not dissatisfied, because everything they did worked very well. But never once was I dissatisfied. But if I were to say, well, what could they have done or what could they have added? Maybe a few more of those moments, but most of those moments came between Nebula and Gamora. They didn't really need Drax to be all serious because they have that story going on there. So, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying for myself, I can't really point to any real negatives in the movie. I mean, you could probably nitpick it to death. I don't see the point of that. It's a great movie from start to finish.
It is.
As soon as the opening started, I was smiling. It was great. Baby Groot just dancing. It was awesome.
Yeah, Mr. Blue Sky.
Yes. And I thought that was going to be my favorite scene, but then I just had a brain fart.
What, the Rocket and Yondu scene?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that was my favorite scene in the movie. Was Rocket and Yondu and was playing. What was the song? Come a Little Closer.
Yeah, come a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that was. It was just very well done, and it was over the top in all the best ways.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There was a scene like, well, if you've seen the movie, which hopefully you have, and if you haven't, and you're just a sourpuss and swelling this for yourself, Yondu's controlling. He gets his mohawk, and he's controlling the arrow. Yeah, and which was really funny when Baby Groot was trying to get that for him. That was so funny.
Yeah.
And then Yondu starts controlling the arrow, and you just see how strong he really is and why he was the leader up until this point. And, you know, because they have that cool moment in the first one where he kills all those guards.
Yeah.
And, which people say, like, that was dumb because they would have shot him. But did you see how fast the arrow was going? The first and the last guy dropped at the same time. They didn't have time to react to that.
Right.
Anyway, so Yondu's killing all these pirates. He's killing, like, his whole crew because they betrayed him. And he's walking in slow motion, and Rocket's right beside him. And there was one scene where they're walking, and they're walking onto like a bridge, and you see bodies just falling in slow motion
everywhere.
It was beautiful. It was so well done.
Oh, the first moment when, oh my goodness, when the Ravengers were attacking Rocket in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all gathering
Yes.
up, and all of a sudden he's kicking the crap out of all of them. He's winning, and all of a sudden you hear that whistle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh no, and all of a sudden the arrow just comes right to his face, and he just stops because you don't mess with Yondu.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy, I'm not even kidding. He seems to be. I honestly think he's one of the most powerful characters I've seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like what he can do is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's gone is really sad.
Spoilers.
Yeah, it's very sad, but he served such a good purpose in this movie. So, without a doubt, my favorite part of this movie was Yondu.
I'd have to agree with that, but
Mm.
I didn't feel like he ran away with the show either. I felt like
Yeah.
everybody shined when they were supposed to. Baby Groot was great when he was supposed to be great. Rocket, I loved how he kept winking with the wrong eye, and it was like I wondered if they'll get into his backstory more in the third movie because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot about him, so
Well,
I'm
yeah.
guessing that he was not always a raccoon.
No, he's a creation. Yeah.
Okay, so it's funny.
Yeah.
Like somebody calls him Triangle Nose, and he's like he's like
Yeah.
trying to figure out if that
Or
was
Trash Panda. He's
Yeah.
like, is that worse? Oh,
Yeah.
it is so much worse.
So yeah, it's cool. And then like I said, Star Lord and obviously Gamora.
Gamora.
Thank you. She did perfect for her role.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's not like over the top. She's kind of like grounds the team almost.
Yeah.
And she was great at that, and she had some really good moments in there.
She did.
Drax was so much better. I mean, he was great in
He
the
was
first
hilarious,
movie,
yeah.
but it's like the actors getting more comfortable with the role and just nailing it.
Dave Bautista, WWE wrestler, who would have thought that he would have killed such a role like that? I mean, let's be honest.
Some of these WWE guys can act.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I have to say, okay, best line of the movie. You know what I'd say it is?
What's that?
I'm freaking Mary Poppins, y'all. I'm Mary Poppins.
I like my favorite line was when Star-Lord's like, "Of course I got problem. That's my dad."
That's my dad.
But yeah, the Mary Poppins line.
Mary
was
Poppins
gold.
line. I'm telling you.
He's like, "You like Mary Poppins? Is that cool?" Yeah.
Yeah, you look like Mary Poppins, kind of making a joke. But Yondu doesn't know who that is, so Mary Poppins, is he cool? Yeah, he's cool. He's cool.
Okay. So I think, as you guys would know, we both really recommend the movie. We loved the movie to death. I cannot wait to watch it again.
To
Actually.
be totally honest, this is my opinion. Out of Phase 3, there's 3 movies out in Phase 3 right now, and that started with Civil War, then Doctor Strange,
Nerd!
and then now. Well, yeah, we're nerds. Look at this.
Oh, when did that get there?
Oh, hush. So, the 3 movies, Civil War, Doctor Strange, and Guardians 2. By far, Guardians 2 is my favorite of Phase 3. It's probably the most enjoyable movie. Now, out of rewatchability and how everything stands together, I don't want to get into that now.
I'm going to have to... You know me. I like to let things set and kind of fester for a little
Yeah.
bit before I make that decision. But so far, Phase 3 has been knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would highly recommend all 3 of those movies.
Well, basically, what I feel like they did is Phase 1 was very safe. Very safe choices. Like Iron Man was very grounded. The Hulk even was very military movie. It was very serious. Thor, they had to go a little bit out of the way because it's Asgard and the whole new realm. That was, of course, well accepted at the time, but that was, a stretch. As how are they going to do that? Then Phase 2, they did so much that just opened up their possibilities for Phase 3, where Marvel has no rules, no boundaries. They can do anything they want and get away with it. Which, DC's still working at that. They're trying to do things, but it's not being as well accepted as Marvel. But Marvel has earned the rights to just say, you know what? We want to have this baby tree killing people and spending like 10 minutes on screen just not doing anything. But people will watch. That's what people love. So I love that Marvel tailors to what people love to watch.
Well, going back on that, you have to give DC a little bit of credit for not copying Marvel.
Absolutely.
Because that would have been very easy for them to do, and they probably would have made some more money. But they decided to be a little bit more... Well, they decided to do their own thing, and I always respect people who are willing to do their own thing.
Yeah, so, you guys don't know me yet, and you don't really know us very well, but I am a DC fan, first and foremost, before anything. Superman is my homeboy. I've loved him my whole life. He's my favorite superhero. I love DC, but I love Marvel too. I enjoy watching the movies. And I loved Man of Steel. I love Batman versus Superman. I'm pumped and out of my mind for Wonder Woman and Justice League. And Suicide Squad, yes, I enjoyed. There were issues, absolutely. There's issues in every movie, just about, but doesn't mean I don't like them. So, getting that kind of out of the way so you guys know that. But
I'm just laughing because I haven't seen Suicide Squad yet.
we'll watch that one soon. I have that one too. I'll bring it over someday.
Okay.
This guy, movie reviews on a YouTube channel, hasn't even seen some of these. It's hysterical.
Well, obviously, you guys know our thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. I would personally recommend both of them, and I think you would too.
Yeah.
So we're not really going to do a number system. We're just going to say, like, would we recommend them or would we not recommend them?
We got a number system coming later in the week.
Well, yeah. I guess that would be our post-credit scene.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we got a numbers thing later.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you on the next one.